Good afternoon, everyone. This is Tony, and I just got back from my garden, and I did plant up my onion starts, and I moved my horseradish. So I've got a fair bit done. There's still so much to do, even just to clean up the garden, but there's still very few people that are going there. It's early yet, apparently. Either that or some people like to do the whole thing all at once. Now, I also cut a whole bunch of lavender. And this is how I start lavender. I start with one plant and I take cuttings. I am so cheap, honest to God. You know, the good Lord provides us these plants. They grow. We don't have to buy hundreds of dollars of plants. Sometimes all you need is one or two. And time. You do need time. If you can't grow them from seed, which you can get multiple plants from seed, once the plant has developed some structure and some growth, and as you can see, these are pretty strong cuttings here. So I've taken them, cleaned them off, and yes, this is all nice and live. It's not all that terribly green yet, but it will green up as soon as it gets more water. And that's all I'm going to do with them. I'm actually fairly lazy when it comes to propagating things like this. Well, for one thing, I don't have space for hundreds and hundreds of pots. So I literally just put them in a container of water, and the ones that survive, awesome. They get to go on the ground, and the ones that don't, well, they go into the garbage. Okay, and here is a container that I don't use for much of anything else, so it's perfect for this. And it will allow me to see if I can propagate and grow a whole bunch more lavender plants. I do love lavender. And yes, I have propagated lavender like this many a time. Okay, once I get this done, I'll put it aside. Now, you don't put it in the sunlight. When you are propagating things like this, you have stressed them out. There's no doubt in my mind that cutting back plants and putting them in water does stress them out. I have, in occasion, stuck those stems directly in the dirt, but it has to be in a spot that is shady and doesn't stress the plants out, and they put roots, believe it or not. Plants do whatever they can to survive. But this should be, these should do well. You know, if half of them survive, I'll be happy. And then we will just expand my nice lavender walkway. And I should have a whole bunch of lavender flowers this year, and I could make lavender sachets and all kinds of things. Okay, that's it for now. I'm going to get cleaned up, and then I'm going to go and see how much rice costs. Okay, well, I had produced a whole video, and it turns out that there was something wrong with the audio, and since it was more of a talk video, I couldn't reproduce the audio on it. So here I am, filming this a second time, and I don't know that I will be discussing the same things over and over again, but today I'm focused more on getting out to the stores, and I did get out to the stores this morning and replenishing my rice supply. I did go out yesterday to one shop to price it out, and there are basically two Asian shops close by where I can buy rice in bulk, and in bulk means 8 kilograms or 17 pounds. It's approximately 17 pounds of rice in a bag, and I prefer to buy it in that size. Now, I could probably go down to Chinatown and pick up 50-pound bags of rice, but for one thing, I wouldn't be able to lift them. And secondly, I'm not going down there. I'm not doing that drive. So the a couple of Asian shops that are fairly close to me all sell rice. One of them has huge amounts of rice all the time, and all various kinds and all various prices, and I decided that I would check out the one that was a little more distant first, and priced it out there, and I almost thought they didn't have any, but then I did find their rice in a corner. I mean, what Asian shop does not have rice? And the best price they had was $16, so of course I had that $16 figure in my mind. And then when I went to the one closer today to price theirs out, it turns out that yes, the $16 was the best price for long grain white rice, which is what I buy. Now, they also had 2 other brands of long grain white rice for $18, and the difference, the brand, 2 of them came from, I suppose they came from China. I don't know. There was Chinese writing on the bag, which of course I can't read. But the one that I did buy was New Pack, which is made in the U.S. And I think they're all virtually the same product. But, I mean, rice is rice. And saving $2 a bag at this point is not a bad bet. So I did buy some, and I probably will be buying more. I will double check my stash of rice. I believe I have more than ample amount, but one never knows how long these shortages are going to last. And rice is one of those staples that you can keep for a long time. So I also hear from some of my subscribers that sugar is another item that is going to be in short supply, and I do have plenty of sugar, but sugar is also one of those things I'm trying to cut back on in a big way. You know, they say to lose weight, it's cut the carbs and cut the sugar. At least that's what my daughter tells me. And I have a dilemma cutting carbs. So, I mean, I can't cut carbs, but sugar I can cut. And so I'm trying to keep my sugar intake to a minimum. And mainly I use sugar for preserving jams and jellies and things of that nature, so I have more than adequate. And of course some baking. And when I kill Mark with his butter tarts, oh, that is nothing but sugar. So yeah, but he loves them, and because of that I just make them very rarely, because literally they're nothing but sugar and corn syrup, which is sugar, which is, you know, it's nothing but sugar. So I am trying to keep sugar down to a minimum for the time being, and not too worried about how much sugar I have in house. Although I probably should double check how much I have, and if need be, buy a bag or 2. So that is my position for today. Unfortunately, it is Saturday and it is raining, and there is no going to the garden today, unfortunately, because Saturday would be a great day to go there and do some things. And oh yes, my asparagus was up. It was probably about 4 or 5 inches. So in another 2 days or so, I should be able to pick fresh asparagus from my garden. Really excited about that. It is so wonderful to be able to put in something, and after a few years, you know, that it comes back year after year after year after year. And I do have 2 patches of rhubarb that are coming up. I started one in a corner, and I started another one elsewhere, and they're both coming up. So we should have rhubarb this year, and when I go to pick fresh strawberries, because I'm sure I won't have my own strawberries this year, but when I do go to the farms to pick fresh strawberries, I could make a strawberry rhubarb jam using my own fresh rhubarb. And perhaps I may just cut rhubarb into chunks and freeze some of it as well. So the thing with rhubarb is picking the early stems is the best. I've had a rhubarb patch in my last home for 20 odd years, and oh yeah, those fresh spring Shoots were always the most flavorful, the most tender, and not that you don't grow rhubarb all year long, you do. I mean, it keeps putting out new shoots, but the spring ones were always the most tender and most flavorful. So I'll be looking out for those again. Anyway, that's it for now. I think that perhaps I may make some pizza dough and then maybe just go out for a while. So, hope you enjoyed my video today. Pick up some rice if you use rice. Grab it before the prices go through the roof or you can't find any. And at this point I was actually pleased I could still find it at $16 a bag, although when I bought a ton of rice a couple of years back, I think I paid $8 for the same bag, so yeah. But $16 is better than no rice at all. So that's the way the world is turning right now. Anyway, this is Tony from her Homestead Skills, and we'll talk to you again real soon. Bye for now.